Welcome to day number 8 of our progressive meditation series. So the last two sessions we had together, we went over sight and sound sensory mastery practices. Now, having done these doesn't make you a sensory master yet. These are just really introductions into gaining better control over the external stimuli that influence you. Today we're going to be working on touch and felt sensation. For me, always one of the most tempting distractions during a meditation practice is noticing that I have an itch or that I need to move or something doesn't feel like I'm not as comfortable as I could be. Now, it's important to note that if there's pain, it is really important to readjust yourself, right? We don't want to meditate through pain. That's kind of counterproductive because it's going to hamper our future meditation sessions. Most likely when you feel pain, there's some kind of injury going on. But a simple discomfort, maybe an itching sensation, or feeling like you've got a little tingle or something going on that's distracting. We want to see if we can eventually move away from adjusting ourselves and noticing that distraction in the first place. So one exercise we can do to begin working on mastering the sensation of touch, right? With the last two exercises, what we've done is we've focused on one particular sound, one particular visual element. Today we're going to focus on one particular felt sensation. And we're going to do that by a repetitive tapping motion on our foreheads. So it's just going to be like this. You're going to tap right in the middle of your forehead over and over again. And you're just going to draw your attention to that spot where you're tapping. And we're going to do this for a minute or so. You shouldn't be tapping super hard. It should be a light touch. Keep going. Now as you do this, start to deepen the breath. And bring all of your attention to that spot right in the middle of the forehead. That spot you keep touching. That spot you keep kind of bringing awareness to just by the action of touching it. Now, stop touching it. And then bring your awareness now to that place. We've stimulated that one area in particular. So now, notice what that's like. Breathe with it for a moment. And we're going to just begin our 8-minute meditation with our focus on that one area of the body. So you might even direct your gaze, your internal gaze there, where it feels like the eyeballs are going up to that spot as well. We're just feeling the very center of our forehead. Stay with that sensation. If you notice you've been distracted by another sensation, an itch, or a feeling like you need to fidget, just come back to the forehead again. Still paying attention to the middle of the forehead. Noticing the sensation there, or the change in sensation. Begin to soften your focus on that spot. Hold that area more gently in your awareness. And as you do that, see if you can slow the breath a little more. Soften the breath. You might even notice that the sensation in the middle of the forehead changes depending upon whether you inhale or exhale. And it might start to feel like you're even breathing through that area rather than breathing through your mouth or your nose. Now I want you to release your focus entirely. Don't focus on any one thing. So I find that particular practice and the tapping on the forehead can be quite powerful. And you might have noticed something interesting when I cued you to release your singular point of focus onto nothing. You may have for just a moment realized that there wasn't one single train of thought that you were following. There was this spaciousness and kind of emptiness. It feels sometimes, to me, like I've found the perfect balance. Like if you ever lean back in a chair and you pick your feet up and you find you're floating for just a few seconds and you're weightless, you found the balance point where the mind's no longer grasping onto things and getting carried away by them. And so this is where we're headed a little more. And these concentration practices, they help us because we realize as we focus on this one thing, we get better at focusing. And then eventually we get better at releasing our focus entirely onto nothing at all. So there are two more senses to our typical 5 senses that I talked about in the 2 videos ago. So smell and taste are a little bit harder to work with. And I don't think in most instances of a meditation practice come into play. They might come into play throughout your life. And I think maybe those we will touch on more later when we talk about some other philosophical topics and best practices. So I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for day number 9. See ya.